Good morning. Today we are going to talk about Shakespeare. The speakers are Janice Hernandez, Sabina Calderon, and Camila Suarez speaking to you.
William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 66 in Stratford, Connecticut, Warwickshire. He was the son of a merchant named John Shakespeare, who also worked as a city councilman, and of a wealthy Catholic woman named Mary Arendt. He had seven siblings, William being the birth child of the Shakespearean Mary in chronological and the others male. Despite the privileged situation they had shortly after the birth of the rise every changed. His family was persecuted, it is believed, for professing the Catholic faith. It is claimed that he had to abandon his student to help his family financially after the failure in his father's gloves business. When he was 18 years old, he met 26 years old, Anne Hathaway, the daughter of a local farmer 8 years older than William. The couple had two more children, twins, Judy, Susanna, and Ahmed. The latter died at the age of 11 for unknown causes. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, sometimes known as the Bear of Avon. Shakespeare is considered the most important writer in the English language and one of the most famous in world literature.
The beginnings in the English capital were humble. Many believe that he worked as a teacher and apprentice butcher before becoming the renowned writer that he was. In the 20th century, his works were adapted and rediscovered many times by all kinds of artistic, intellectual, and dramatic art movements. Shakespeare's comedies and tragedies have been translated into major language and are constantly being studied and performed in various cultural and political contexts around the world. On the other hand, many of the quotes and aphorisms that his works have become part of daily use, but in English and in other languages. And personally, with the passage of time, there has been much speculation about his life, questioning his sexuality, his religious affiliation, and even the authorship of his works. William Shakespeare's work is characterized by his mastery of the scenic structure and literary language, whether in prose or poetry, by the psychological penetration of his characters, and for its capture and understanding of human emotion. His work on him during his stay in London, William Shakespeare developed his literary career in 159. He published one of his first success, his poem Venus and Adonis. His activity in poetry dates from 159 to 157. However, What really made the British writer famous were his plays. As a playwright, Shakespeare wrote 14 comedies, 10 tragedies, and 10 other historical dramas. Before the year 1600, one of his most famous comedies is Date, A Midsummer Night's Dream from 1600. The so-called dark comedies and tragedies were published. Here he abandoned the unique tinge to give way to deeper themes and to enter the minds of the characters. Great examples of the aspect of his work are in Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and
He was 22 years old. He is buried in the Holy Trinity in Stamford. Date around years 160 and 160 William Shakespeare left London. He returned to his native Stamford to spend the last years of his life. The famous English playwright died on April 23 and 166, according to the Julian calendar in force in England at the time. By the Gregory calendar, that date corresponds to May 3. Popular belief marked his death on the same day as that of Miguel Cervantes. Albeit wrongly, many believe that the cause of Shakespeare's death was drink. However, there is no enough data to make this information true. The death of William Shakespeare sparked controversy. There were few who doubted the authorship of his works.